church.
Mm-hmm.
And like it was cool, I guess. I, I don't know. I think I just always felt uncomfortable. And
Mm-hmm.
I felt, and then once I really started to read the Bible and I understood what was being said, a lot of it was absolutely 100% against women. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, how and why would I want to be a part of something and they don't like me? Like, I'm clearly not welcome at this table, you know?
You hear me?
So there were some things where, and forgive me because I don't remember the exact verses, like the numbers, right? But I remember reading in Genesis how a man could sell his daughter into slavery.
Yep.
I think it's in Deuteronomy where they talk about how if a man rapes a woman and gets her pregnant, then he has to marry her. It's not even like she has a choice. Like she now has to marry her rapist and bear his child. The whole idea that women could not, and I know that things have changed now, but just
Mm-hmm.
the idea that women could not be preachers or teach the word of God beyond like being the like Bible study teacher or Sunday
Mm-hmm.
school teacher. That was weird to me. And then specifically, one of the reasons was my pastor had said that he would not baptize children who were born to unwed mothers. And I thought that was absolutely ludicrous and crazy. And I was
I,
just like, what? Oh, so I'm like, so like literally 3/4 or yeah, 3/4 of your congregation now are not gonna have their children baptized, right? So it was just a lot. And then I could never understand why the pastors, you know, they would be coming up and like, okay, I remember when the brand new like Cadillac Escalades came out, right? I think it was like
I remember that. Yes.
junior high, high school, like right around those times when I entered that those, you know, from junior high and high school, the Cadillac
Mm-hmm.
Escalades came out.
The Escalade. Everybody got the Escalade. Remember the
Yeah, and
song?
I'm just like,
Yes.
how are they able to afford this? How what are like how much is are they getting paid? And then let me tell you. So you know how it's always like the preacher's kids always are like might be the drummer or whatever. And then I'm gonna finish my story. But so
All right.
my babysitter used to date the pastor's son. And one day we went to their house. And okay, and I'm from California. And at the
Mm-hmm.
time they lived in a house that was like 3 blocks away from like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh wow.
And I'm like, how can they afford this house? The house was huge. Like I
Mm-hmm.
literally got lost. And and I remember I got so depressed by being in that house. Like they're living in this house and my parents, we're living in a 2 bedroom apartment, driving
Mm-hmm.
Nissan Sentras. But y'all got this big ass house and a Cadillac Escalade. Nonetheless, I say all this to say, I went into the bathroom and they had this book of like, why did you come into the bathroom? And I literally wrote in there to sulk because I'm poor. Like, you know what I mean? Seeing this house made me realize I really am. You know? And then still like trying to keep up the traditions of my family and just realizing like it's not for me. Christianity was not for me. And I would never ever tell anyone that they need to leave. And I would never
Right.
tell anyone that it's not good. Like in
Right.
general, it's just not good for me. It didn't necessarily make the best of sense.
Mm-hmm.
And as I'm older now, I realize that it it really is just like a book basically used to try to control people and make you think that everything is the devil if it's bad, everything
Oh
is
man.
God if it's good, and that you really have no control over your life, even though God is inside of you, so you should have control of your life, right? Like it's just a lot. There was a lot. There's a lot going on. As I'm saying this right now, I'm like, oh, there's probably 7,000 other things that I could share, but those were
Oh
like the main factors. You
right.
know, it's just no, it just wasn't for me. And it doesn't mean that I don't still believe in God. It's just not a Christian God, and I don't believe that, you know, if I don't tithe, I'm going to be like stricken down by lightning. You
Yeah.
know, I don't know how many people have been taught that if you do not tithe, like you're literally just going to be put to death or something. I'm like, that's crazy because if you don't have it, you don't have it. God's not going to kill you because he didn't. Like if God gives you everything, God isn't going to kill you for not having what he didn't give you. You know,
Yep.
it was just too many questions, too many questions and not enough answers, and that was the problem.
Yep. Too many questions and not enough answers. It's that's always a thing,
Yeah,
you know. And the thing is, it's like the questions are very, very simple. To
yeah,
me, they're simple. And it for me, it all started with questions because my biggest thing is one, I do not understand how this country can claim such, I don't know, such knowledge of the Bible. We have such amazing Bible scholars, yet the actual Holy Bible is a translation of a translation of a translation
hmm,
of a Holy Bible that's not even legal in the United States.
mm,
You talk about 10 commandments in the actual Holy Bible, there are over 100.
really.
Why is that not talked about in churches? Why is that not talked about in religions? Why is it that it's not, why don't they make it very, very clear that the people who transcribed the actual Holy Bible were scribes that were commissioned by certain people, meaning these people worked with an agenda.
So they
And
told them
I
what to put in, and they told them what to leave in and what to take out.
to take out
Interesting.
the actual idea that women were never servants in any temples is absolutely ridiculous.
Right.
Prophetess, you're telling me there were goddesses that were worshipped, but there were no priestess, there were no high priestess, even though there are literally paintings of them in history, but they don't exist. Or they would just, everything was just so pagan that it's absolutely crazy to think that a woman would possess the ability and the capability of praising and serving God in the temple other than as a prostitute.
Right. But then again, that's the patriarchy of it.
Right, exactly. And that's the thing that got me when I started asking those questions. There were never any answers other than, well, it's all about a matter of faith. Okay. Hey, drunk. Thank you for coming back. I've seen you and I'm with you. Like, it's just church is not for me. It's too many flaws. It's too many agendas there. It's too many people passing the plate. And I just, you know what's crazy? I saw a video today where a pastor was calling his congregation garbage for not being able to get him, this expensive watch that he wanted, saying,
What?
aren't I worth the Gucci you wear? Aren't I worth, the Prada? Aren't I worth this? Aren't I worth that? And I'm like, in what way? Why
That's
in what way are
crazy.
you that valuable that you still can't afford to take care of yourself? Are you serious?
But that's what us also like the that pastor in New York. I think it was Brooklyn, right? Where the
Yeah.
robbers came into the church and allegedly stole over $20,000 worth of jewelry. My dude, like you're a pastor. You're supposed to be over the flock, a shepherd, quote unquote, and you are wearing, you and your wife specifically were robbed of $20,000. of jewelry, and it's a storefront church. So it's not like, you know, it,
Hmm.
like it's not like
It,
it was a mega church. Like what is that guy's name? Joel Austin? Is that his name?
yeah,
Like what? I don't know. I don't know.
I
I'm sorry. It just bothers me. It bothers me
that and
to my
that's another thing.
soul.
And for me, I grew up, in a, if my family sees this, they're gonna be mad. But you know what? The truth is the truth. If you're still a part of it, you know what? Then that's your prerogative. But this is the truth. These are facts.
Right.
There's still a story in something. It's a little book called the My Book of Bible Stories, where it talks about Joseph, and he had a daughter named Dinah.
Mm-hmm.
Dinah was hanging with the wrong crowd, meaning she was hanging with people that were not of her tribe. I think that they technically would have been considered Hebrews, and I think the people that she were going around, I think they were Canaanites or something like that. I can't remember the tribe of people that she was going around, but pretty much they were of a separate tribe that, she wasn't supposed to be mingling with. Well, one of the men over there notices her and tries to sleep with her. She says no, and he forces herself on him.
Mm.
Now, the story could have, and then, pretty much what led to a war breaking out because her brothers found out and then started killing everybody in the tribe because of, hey, you know what, you look what you did to our sister. But they blamed it all on Dinah. She had no business over there. She had never been over there. She wouldn't have gotten raped. Not that the guy didn't have enough self control to keep his hands to himself. No, the lesson
Right.
you want to teach is that don't hang out in places and people where we tell you not to hang out at, or around people that isn't of your tribe or who is of your religion, and things like that won't happen to you. They
Mm.
teach the very thing that it does. If a woman is wearing a certain thing, she's inviting certain attention.
Right.
That shit is very much taught.
They
And to
do.
this day, that mess bugs me. And if anybody wants to try to contest me like that's not your books, baby, I still have all my old books. It's all very much there. You are part of a religion that encourages rape culture.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you can put it however you want to. Because if you really want me to keep going, I still don't like how Christianity is covering up the amount of child sex trafficking and child molestation that are still very much happening, including in a part of the religion that I was, how they covered up that they were sued for over $3 million by victims, and they chose not to let that out. Like, are you serious? It's
What?
getting yes, yes,
That's
it is. Yes.
wild.
Also, how they are neglecting to talk about how the FBI summoned their records because they have kept records on everybody. And you think these are just people knocking at your door? No, I found a very serious problem and asked a lot of questions that they didn't like me asking.
Yeah. Because you were
So it,
getting too close to the truth, and they're trying to keep it hush hush because
yeah,
you were messing with their money at this point.
exactly. Yeah, baby, I was a part of them for over 30 years of my entire life. Yeah.
Wow.
They don't encourage girls to go to college. Either you're going to be a missionary pioneer. If you're going to seek secular employment, it shouldn't be something that's going to, be too much of, you're pretty much your entire life is serving God and getting in field service and getting the message out. Like everything else, you should have faith that will be provided for you, not that you should go out there and get it on your own. And if you are a woman, the highest thing that you're going to get is married to somebody that can probably maybe get a little higher,
That's crazy.
neglecting the fact that the entire committee is made up of men who say that they are guided by Holy Spirit. But yes, Holy Spirit works through everybody. So what makes you more in communication and more holy than the rest of your flock?
Mm.
And I find it very troubling that they are given stocks by their members. They're given millions and millions of dollars worth of stocks. And the biggest question that took them down when they started their own channel, like they have their own broadcast, they were let's see, they were nominated for some type of streaming TV award.
Mm-hmm.
In order to be nominated for that, you have to pay a $10,000 fee to be nominated. Who nominated a religion that is based solely on donations? Mind you, the witnesses are not allowed to, they're not required to tithe, but they are required to donate if at all possible. And in some congregations, there would be an open agreement that you would donate up to 12 to 20 to 30 something dollars a month per family or per person. It just depends.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so babe girl, I could go on and I can go on and I can go on and I can go on.
That just
But
seems like super traumatic.
yeah,
That's
it
like
is.
super, super traumatic.
Here's the worst one. I can give you the worst. It was at a wedding. It was like really, really sweet. The man who was giving his daughter away was also an elder. He was also giving his daughter away, during the ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
He sat here and told his daughter the best thing that a woman can do is being submissive to her husband. And his example was, so let's just say you and your husband have a disagreement about something being right or wrong. And you're right, but he's wrong. But
Mm-hmm.
instead of you bringing it up and telling him that you're wrong, how about you work along with him and then that will make everything okay. So
So just pretend like he's right and keep
yeah,
doing wrong stuff.
yeah, that's
That'll
that.
that'll make
Shit
that'll
you
you'll
not,
go broke.
I shit you
you'll
not, word
you'll
for
be
word,
homeless and broke.
word for word, word for word. That is what he told his daughter during her ceremony. I mean, I was sitting there like, I was 14. I was like, what?
That's crazy.
What?
That's
I was like,
crazy
oh
talk.
hell. I was like, I'm definitely not getting married ever.
That's crazy talk. Mm.
Oh wow,
No, no,
drunk you
no.
were too. I'm so happy you made it out. You made it out, baby. You okay? Are you okay? We need a support group for people who leave. Are you okay?
Leaving the witnesses. That's what we'll call
Oh,
it.
leaving or getting disfellowship, because mind you, that's a threat that they hold over your head. If you get disfellowshipped, your family's no longer allowed to deal with you. Now, some people choose to go against that, others don't.
So is the
And
witnesses like the Mormon church in that
close,
regard to where
close
you
enough,
can
yeah, close enough, but they claim transparency.
mm, that's crazy talk.
But and I want to say this because I wish I would have said this at the beginning. I
Hmm.
do not want anyone to believe that these people are bad people. They are not. They are amazing, sweet people who believe in love. They believe in love. They
Hmm.
truly, truly do believe in love for one another. It's just they got leadership at the top, and just like anybody in Christianity, they're very blinded. So I want
Yeah.
to say that from the bottom of my heart, those are some amazing people. They were amazing friendships. The older women taught me to be a real friend. When I had nobody to hang out with when I was 9 years old, all of my friends were in their 50s and 60s. They taught me what it means to be a friend. They picked me up. They said, this sister ain't feeling good, so we're gonna take her some tea. I made some homemade biscuits. We're gonna take them up over there. So
Mm,
that's what they did. They took her up. They took the tea and biscuits over there and cheered her up. They didn't talk bad about her. They didn't make her feel bad about herself. There were no slick comments. And after a while, we seen her come back. That's what, and like one lady's like, you seen her house? And then the older lady's like, that's not what we gonna do here. That woman is going through a hard time. You don't know how hard it is for her to get up. Her name was the lady who said it was Sister Edwards. She forever in my mind was the best example of what it means to be a sister and a friend. And I
mm.
was not, and that was forever my example. And it's like, yeah, people like that do exist. And she was a Leo.
Leah.
No, I always got put in because I remember seeing her driver's license. I saw she was born in early August,
Yeah.
and when that always stuck with me. So I got older, and I was like, she's a Leo. Okay,
Mm,
I missed the
that's
heck out of
wild. You know
it.
what? I'm reading in the comments, and Drunk is saying that when I left, I lost all of my friends that I grew up with. Some still talk to me on the low, but they are scared to hang out. And I'm just wondering what, like emotionally, what does that feel like to you when, like, you can no longer speak to Like everyone that you grew up with, like literally everyone that you knew since you popped out of
Over
the
30,
womb,
trust me, over
right?
30 years,
You now
friends all
cannot
around
talk
the
to them
world.
ever again. Like how emotionally traumatized, if at all, or what type of healing did you have to do or go through to be able to, I guess, I don't even know if move past it is the right word, but to like at least be able to, I guess, function regularly from a day to day, from from that type of a day to day perspective.
That was it wasn't the hardest part, but it was hard because I lost friends that I had all of my life, all around the world, mind you. I made friends all around the world. There are
Right.
witnesses in every damn near every country gone the moment I decided to walk away. I honestly, I just had to prepare myself for it because I was like, you know what? I don't expect anybody to go against their faith because in the end, when you are at your lowest, your faith is all you have.
Mm.
And I had to pretty much create the understanding within myself for them that they are only doing what they think is best for their spirituality, for what they feel their spirituality is. And it's bad because that included my mom, my older
Yeah.
sister, my nieces, my nephews, my aunts, my uncles, no longer able to even say hi to me. Like my dad died. I mean, when my grandmother died, my dad was also disfellowship. She didn't want him anywhere near.
What?
Yeah, even in death, there's not an excuse. If you're disfellowship, even in death, you are still not allowed to come around. Well, they if the person decides, you're not allowed to come around.
Mm. That's heartbreaking. That makes me feel very sad.
It it is a little bit, but it's just like, you know what, um compared to being blinded and being unhappy, because it was always a constant thing, like, am I doing enough? Am I going to be destroyed? Am I going to live to see, my child again? And for me, it was the worst because when I lost my son, all I had to look forward to was the resurrection. That was my hope, because it's also taught that when you die, there's nothing afterward. You go back to God or their idea of source, and you await in his memory for a possible resurrection if you're found worthy. Or, if you're found worthy when this world is destroyed, if you're found worthy, if you've been faithful enough, if God sees you as worthy, you'll survive while everyone else is destroyed. And then it'll be a work to return the world to paradise. And then that's when the resurrection and stuff will happen, and you'll have everything back that you ever wanted.
What?
That's the goal of everything.
So
It's
the
what it
goal is basically to get everything that you want after you're dead.
after everything is destroyed. Remember, Armageddon, first they feel like the end is going to come, meaning God is going to bring about, a great tribulation, which they feel we're in right now. And then after that, there's going to be a huge attack on religion, and false religion pretty much is going to be taken down. And then the one true religion, which is the witnesses, they will be the only ones left. And once they start getting attacked, then God will bring about the end and destroy everybody who's a part of false religion or spirituality or anything like that. And
I'm
and
sorry.
then
Let me
after,
fix my face. My whole
yeah,
face was like,
just hang in there. And then after everything and everyone is destroyed that was not a part of the true religion,
uh huh.
then or let's just say God found them worthy, even if they weren't a part of it. Let's just say they probably didn't have an accurate knowledge or something like that. So not everybody who's not a part of the witness will be destroyed. But if God finds you worthy, then you'll be left alive too, to help develop this world back into a paradise, back into the Garden of Eden that it was supposed to be. That's the belief.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
I don't even think I could even live up to those standards. Cause I would just be like, fuck it. Like I can't. Like it's too much. I can't. Oh my gosh! Wow.
Yeah. Don't even get talked about the ceremony. And here's the biggest thing. And if I say this, I know he's gonna go off. The memorial? The memorial, yeah, every year, the memorial, that ritual, those songs that we sing every Sunday to keep you under the spell. Everybody has to get up and singing. Like exactly, like I promise it's so triggering. The memorial is much like the Passover. It's where we commemorate, well, they commemorate the death of Jesus, because the actual observance of that memorial is more important than their birth. There are no holidays that are celebrated within a religion because they're all pagan. And you know what? That's honestly true. They are all pagan. All holidays are pagan.
Yeah, well.
Well, yeah. So, but yeah, so but pretty much you pass the wine and the bread. That bread is the symbolism of Jesus, body and his blood, his innocent blood, because he was a perfect man, and he came here to pour out his blood on behalf of the innocent, because when Adam sinned, he threw humanity off. He's what caused that sin of Adam and Eve, is what caused death to come into the world. That's why humans get old and die. That's the belief. So Jesus came down here and balanced the scales when he sacrificed his perfect life for us. That's the belief. And so when Jesus did that, he gave humanity a chance to pray to God through him and, atone for our sins. It's much more complicated than this. This is just me giving a 10-minute fifth grade synopsis of it.
Okay.
But yeah, so, and after that, we commemorate that, in the Bible, in the scripture. I can't remember the one it says, but Jesus said, keep doing this in remembrance of me. So that's why they do that every single year. So it starts off, first, everybody gets up and everybody sings, and then there's a prayer, and then somebody speaks. And then after that, the whole thing, everybody passes the bread and the wine. The only people who are allowed to drink of it are the anointed, who knew they were going to heaven. And not everybody who got baptized was anointed. You see a dove or something like that, something that would happen. But the idea is that all the people who are anointed are already, pretty much old and gone. Like they feel like the last person who was anointed by God was probably around like the early 1914s and everything else. But they can't confirm that or anything else. But that's just
Right.
but it's frowned upon for anybody to drink the bread and eat the bread and drink the wine if you aren't an anointed. And if you're not anointed, you don't get to go to heaven.
What?
Yeah, if you're not anointed, heaven is not a place for humans. Earth was supposed to be the place for humans. So there is no heaven for humans to go to. But there's also no hell either. There's just
Okay.
eternal end, pretty much. You're not conscious of anything. You're just gone, erased from existence altogether.
Wow.
That's what they're. And the scary thing about that, this is what f's me
The
up at.
whole thing sounds scary, but you know what
Yeah.
you're talking about really sounds like with Christianity, how we would have for communion every first Sunday, or in like on my mom's side, they're Catholic, so they would have that same wine and bread
Mm-hmm.
ritual every Sunday. So that's what it sounds like to me. But really quick, let me go to the comments. And my aunt Nancy, she's on here, and she
Oh,
asked, "What religion is this? Is this? What religion is this topic speaking on?" And we're speaking about today. The topic is why we are the reasons why we left religion, and Nally is talking about the teachings of the Jehovah Witnesses.
hmm.
So okay, sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Nancy. I didn't see you there. I apologize. Talking to dating. Oh my gosh, no, not dating. No, no, no. Okay, so dating. In order to be qualified to date,
What?
a guy, yeah, baby, yes, you have to qualify to date. If
Like
you
this?
want,
You got to take a survey, a test.
well, no, you have to, be of a certain age. One,
Mm-hmm.
you have to be able to provide for the woman you're getting married to. The woman also has to be in a certain standing. And let me explain standing. When I say standing, I mean there is a standing that you can be in. You can either be good, bad, or you can be marked. And for anybody that says that's not true, it is true. I got my hands on the elder handbook. Yes, there's an elder's handbook that no one is allowed to read unless you're an elder. And
Bet
yeah,
you can
I got
find
my
it on
hands on.
Bet you can find it on Amazon.
Oh yeah, there are people who actually went and became witnesses and became elders just to leak their documents that they keep hiding from people. In the book, it
Uh-huh.
specifically states that if you show or you ask any kind of questions that show that you could be a potential problem, you are marked. You are then marked, meaning they are going to be watching you. They will start to lessen your responsibilities around, and you're technically not in good standing. It's somewhat like a private probation that they don't tell you about. Oh, so so with that being said, if you're seeking to marry somebody and you're specifically interested in a certain person, that person also has to be in a good standing. Now the brother or sister is able to inquire like, hey, like, let's just say this is a person in another congregation like across town.
Right.
Their elder, you tell your elders like, I'm interested in that person. And if the elders don't give a favorable report, like, yeah, this person isn't any good, she doesn't keep up with the attendance, or she doesn't answer questions, or she doesn't go in field service, we don't recommend her, as a marriage mate without anything else.
Without
And
even talking to her, without like talking to her mom and dad, just some person that did not birth her and just knows her from a visual can say yay or nay.
and
Like we're at the Roman Colosseum, and it's like the Caesar is like this or like this. So is this like a cult? Like
that is
seriously, I'm
no,
asking
no,
because I've
I know,
never heard anything like this before.
I know,
Is
and
this
no.
like a really big cult? That's
People have made accusations of it being a cult from somebody who's been in, who's walked out, who's walked away 3 times. I will say no, I don't think that it's a cult. I
okay.
think that if you want to be here, you're here. Now they're very transparent about their rules and everything else up front about what they require. It's
Hmm.
just nightly and neatly packaged up. So the choice is there. But if you put that time and everything else in there, then you walk away with nothing. I say for me, it's kind of like a couple steps down from Scientology.
I was just thinking that. I'm like, that sounds like
I know
Scientology.
everybody says that. I was like, you know what? It kind of sounds a little. I would say kind of a little bit, but everybody feels like, I mean, not everybody, but some people feel like it's a cult. And it's like anybody who says that, it's just like, you know what? I'm not gonna argue. I ain't gonna argue if you feel that way, because you know what? I can understand too from somebody who's been inside and somebody who's on the outside. I get it. So if you feel that way, hey. But again, I do want to say the people who are in there are amazing people. Do not judge them. Don't
Right.
sit there and think that they're, terrible people. They are just like you. They're holding on to their faith the best they can. And this is where they are right now.
Right.
So
I mean,
I
it
don't
makes
ever
sense.
want to,
I mean, like with all
yeah,
things, there's a duality, right?
yeah,
There's a negative,
exactly.
there's a positive, and you have to just use your own discernment and be aware of what's going on around you and determine if whatever you have decided to be a part of is right for you, not just physically, but spiritually. It has to be right for
Mhm.
you.
Exactly. And
Mm.
this was the part that messed me up a little bit. So
Oh, I
we
feel
have
like
an
I'm about to
understanding.
cry.
No, 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 no. Don't,
Okay.
no. So we all have an understanding that of, universal consciousness. We
Right.
all come down to this matrix agreeing that we're going to see things a certain way. We agree that, the grass is green. We agree that we're going to see trees. We're going to experience wind and things like that, because it's a collective of us. Now, if that's all it takes to create some type of reality is a collective consciousness, if there are enough people to believe that after this life that there is nothing left, that their soul goes into no existence, because that is their belief.
Say that again. Your microphone is kind of like going out.
I'm sorry, can you hear
You
me?
said something existence and that's their belief.
Okay. So, with everything I said about, understanding the collective conscious, and that, in some cases, all it takes is a certain amount of people to believe something, to have a belief, to believe something, especially surrounding their soul. If these people believe that after they're gone, that there is nothing else, that their soul and their memories and everything about them disappears into nothingness,
Hmm.
could you create that type of reality where you do? Everybody says hell is a collective conscious too. Why you have enough people believing in hell? Could it be?
Could it truly be real?
If people believe something is real, if you get enough people to believe something real, they'll make it real. That's all a part of the uniform and collective consciousness.
Right.
So if after this life you believe that when you're done, and that's where your reality is after you leave this, have you imprisoned yourself somewhere in another reality? Because we create multiple realities. We do.
Hmm. I
That's the
mean, it's
part. Yeah.
possible.
Yeah, that's the part that effed me up. And that very question is what I asked myself last year because my dad was passing and I could not handle thinking about it. And that is what caused me to start smoking weed, everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Her mind was blown, and she was
My
like,
mind was done.
she
My
was
mind
like,
was
now I gotta smoke to make it
no,
make
you know
sense.
what? I have a friend of mine who calls herself to this day a bad influence. She's like, you know what? I think you need to smoke. Because before I would just have an edible. I had never smoked before in my life. And I was like,
Really?
you know what? Yeah. Last year was my first time. I had never smoked before in my life. No. I know, what a waste, right?
I mean, no, I wouldn't say that. Smoking is not for everyone. I don't.
No.
I don't even. I don't. I, I'm not against what people do. I
Yeah.
personally just like wouldn't encourage folks to do it. Right? Like, like you just have to be very. Because okay, let me say this. Let me do my PSA. Right?
Okay. Go ahead.
Is that you need to be very, very before you do any type of
Oh,
mind
wait. I'm sorry.
altering.
I don't mean to stop you. It's
Yeah.
4:29. You said you had to stop by what time?
I'll give. Let's do like 5 more minutes.
Okay. Okay.
So before anyone does any type of mind altering substance in any way,
Hmm.
you need to be very, very aware of what type of mental illnesses may or may not run in your family. And I only say that because I have seen people. Oh, and you need to know who you're getting your stuff from, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Because it could be laced with whatever and whoever. Okay. And I say all this to say just be aware that whatever you take, marijuana, mushrooms, what have you, all of those things can have an effect on your brain. And I'm speaking
Oh.
as someone who has a background in being a patient's rights advocate for the mentally ill. I was a case manager, I was a social worker, all of that good stuff. Okay.
Yes.
And I've
Yes.
seen some shit.
Yes.
And you need to be very, very aware that whatever you take that's mind altering, like it may not leave your system and it may
Mhm.
stay in there and alter everything. I've seen
Exactly.
people, and I've seen people. One guy smokes. I worked on a forensic unit for a while too, for the mentally ill.
Mhm.
This guy smoked weed. It was laced with wet. Wet is the
Oh no.
like street name for
Yeah.
formaldehyde.
Yeah.
Anyways, long story short, he thought his children were demons and tried to kill them and
Mm.
put the babies, like little babies, in the oven and turned it on. And um, his girlfriend was so freaked out, she just started throwing the kids out the window. The ones that he didn't already like stab and kill and all that. And
Mhm.
she jumped out the window too to save herself. So
Oh my gosh.
I'm not saying don't do it.
Yeah. Be
I'm
careful.
just saying be aware of what is going on with your mind or your brain. Be aware and then know what it is that you're smoking. That's all I'm going to say.
Exactly. Get it. Make sure it's from a trusted source, and please make sure you are a place where it is legal. If you do not have a medical, what is it, medical marijuana card
Right.
where you are. I know some states it's legal, but you have to have a medical, card
Marijuana
in
card.
order to
Yeah.
have it. So
Yeah.
if you're not somewhere where it's completely legal and you're not getting it from a trusted source, just don't do it. Because
Right.
my cousin, my younger cousin, it was like 2 years ago, she got hit with something that was laced and she didn't make it.
Yeah. I
She
mean,
didn't
I've
make it.
seen people become, I mean, beyond like people in my family I know that have done smoke marijuana and now they're like schizophrenic. It's just and that's because it runs in our family, right?
Right.
So you just
Mhm.
have to be aware. But nevertheless, thank you, Nally, for sharing with us
Thank
why.
you for sharing. You too, Danae.
Thank you.
You're
I mean, I
welcome.
tried.
And
Mine wasn't as in depth as yours. I was like, oh, dang,
girl,
maybe.
the witnesses, like it's long, like there are documentaries on these on that religion, and it's
Yeah,
anybody who leaves and speaks up about anything that I say, you're considered an apostate, even though you are no definition of the word. So drunk, he be considered an apostate, I be considered an apostate. So it, trust me, it's a lot of more
see, how
people.
those words bother me.
Yeah,
What
don't
are,
they?
but like,
Don't
what is the etymology of apostate? That's what I'm gonna look that up.
they?
Apostate.
Yeah,
What is the etymology? Because
exactly.
I feel like that's a curse. Apostate.
Because when you look it up, the definition of it versus what I am, it makes no sense. But anybody who speaks out is considered just that, even though the definition of the word doesn't make any sense.
That's why I say it's a curse. So yeah, girl.
You're welcome, drunk. I appreciate you sharing too. I know it's a lot to come out of. It's a lot to just And trust me, this is not a one episode thing. Like this could go on for multiple, but I think we're gonna put a pin in this to come back to it because I feel like you have more to share, Danae, and you already know I definitely have more.
I don't know if I have more to share, but yeah. But okay, so you had did you have the meme that you wanted to share that you wanted to pull up?
I did, but you know what? I really want you to get going. You're gonna be late. You got
I
1 minute.
know.
You do. We'll do
Yeah.
it next time. We'll start with that and then we'll end with another one. So we'll make it doubly special. Or
Okay.
we'll make a short and we'll post it on our Facebook page of like a short reaction video.
All right. I can dig it. Okay, so before I go though, I do want to share with you guys a quote, and this is from Buddha. So I'm all into like self care and everything right now that I'm in my new place, and I just want to make sure that I take care of myself. So I found this quote, and it says, "You yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and your own affection." So you
Yeah.
guys take care of yourself, love yourself, be kind to yourself, be considerate to yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. Let things flow, and you'll have a
Exactly.
great deal, and everything will just work out. Just know everything is going to work out how it's supposed to. It's all in divine timing. Okay.
Absolutely. My saying, be authentic, let everything else be bonus. I love you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
We'll see
you.
y'all next week.
All right. Bye. Bye, drunk.